back to the SNS Sports Show. I'm here with Alan Snyder. Our
What's up,
first
everybody?
topic is Jimmy Butler. Go ahead, Alan.
Today we have a pretty quick episode. Nothing much happened yesterday. Big, but this was pretty big. The Timberwolves and the Bulls. The Bulls traded Jimmy Butler to the Timberwolves for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the seventh overall pick. Um, Definitely, I think the Timberwolves won this trade. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a superstar player, in my opinion. He can do it all. He has good size. Uh, he's a very good defender. Everybody knows that. And his offense is getting better each year, including his shooting. Even his playmaking is good. So I think definitely the Timberwolves are getting a superstar player. So Jimmy Butler, along with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, those three guys are definitely a big three, in my opinion. And to go along with that, I mean, they have Rubio, obviously. So I think those four guys are definitely going to do something special. I think the Timberwolves will definitely make the playoffs for the first time in a while. I think they could easily make the sixth or seventh seed. I don't want to. It's their first year together, so we have to see what they do. But I'm definitely going to say they're going to make the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say. As for the Bulls, they're getting Zach LaVine, who is he's a solid player. I think he's pretty athletic. Obviously, he won the dunk contest 2 years in a row. He's a pretty good shooter, I'd say. He's a pretty good slasher as well, but he's just really injury prone. So I think that was kind of a risk getting him. But I mean, they got a solid player, I would say, in Zach LaVine. Then they got Chris Dunn, who hasn't really played much. I think the Timberwolves drafted him like last year, so he's only played 1 year, but he's probably going to develop into something really special. He's a good defensive player, and he's a good offensive player as well. So hopefully Chris Dunn can develop into something for the Bulls going into the future. They also got the seventh overall pick, and with that pick, they drafted a kid from Arizona, a power forward, Lauri Markkanen. I think he's like a 7-footer at power forward position, and he kind of like Porzingis, and he's a really good shooter. So basically, the Bulls got Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and Lauri Markkanen, the rookie. So I definitely think the Timberwolves won the trade. I mean, they're getting Jimmy Butler, a superstar player, and the Bulls didn't really get anything special. I thought the Bulls would have at least asked for like Andrew Wiggins or something like that, but they didn't. So the Timberwolves just got a steal. The Timberwolves robbed the Bulls, in my opinion. But hopefully the Timberwolves can do something special with that group and be good once again and build towards competing in the West. And the Bulls, I think they're just in rebuild mode. They got rid of their superstar, so that easily means that they're just trying to rebuild for the future, get picks, and see what they can do in a couple years. That's what I got on the big trade that happened yesterday.
I think for the Chicago Bulls, it's a good start for them to figure out what to do in the future and see how Zach LaVine will fit in their system, and hopefully there will be a good start for Zach LaVine. He can be a better leader, maybe he can lead better. Um, and for the Timberwolves, it's the next step to the playoffs. Trying to make a good team. And also, last night it was the NBA draft. What's your thoughts about the NBA draft?
So yeah, I watched most of the first round of the draft, which is when all the good players happen or get drafted. And I think everyone knew the first two picks were already obvious. They were everyone already knew what the first two were going to be. The 76ers, with the first pick, they picked Markelle Fultz, the point guard from Washington. Like I said in yesterday's video, this guy can do it all. He can score. He can play. He's a good playmaker. He can defend. He has really good size. He's 6'5". For a point guard, that's very good. He's quick, athletic, slasher. He's basically, everyone compares him to James Harden, like player, offensively. So hopefully this kid, I think he's definitely the most complete player in the draft. I think the Sixers got the best player. And you add Markelle Fultz with Ben Simmons, who's coming back, who hasn't played, but he's coming back, who was the number one pick last year. And then you have Embiid, who played last year, but he got injured. So he's coming back healthy. And then you got Okafor, you got Robert Covington. So you got a really good a group of young players there that hopefully can develop into something special for the 76ers, who haven't really had a good team since Allen Iverson was on the team in the early 2000s. Because basically, since they made the finals, I think they made the finals in like 2001. That was the last time the 76ers were really anything. So hopefully they can grow these young players together with Fultz and Embiid and Okafor and Robert Covington and Ben Simmons. Hopefully they can grow together and be something towards the future in the East. So yeah, that was the first pick. The second overall pick, the Lakers picked Lonzo Ball. Everyone knew that. The point guard from UCLA. This guy has somewhat of a bad reputation because of his dad. His dad is all wild and kind of dumb at times, and no one really likes his dad. But Lonzo Ball is an incredible player. He can also do it all. He's a slasher. He's an athletic playmaker, can shoot the ball, and he's a pretty good defender.
So, he needs to work on his jump shot a little bit, though.
Yeah. Excuse me?
He has to work on his jump shot a little bit.
Yeah, his jump shot's not the best. Yeah, jump shot's a bit weird, but he's a consistent three-point shooter. So I think Lonzo with the Lakers are also trying to build for the future. The Lakers haven't been good since Kobe, like 5 years ago, or when they won the championship. That was like 7 years ago. Excuse me. But yeah, so they have a good young core now with Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell just left, so they don't have him. But they have Brandon Ingram, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle,
Lopez.
Brooke Lopez now. So hopefully with that group they can build and be a good team once again. So that was to the Lakers. The Celtics at number 3, they drafted Jason Tatum, the small forward from Duke, who I think is a very good player. Best scorer in the draft, in my opinion. He can do it all, shoot, slash, pretty good size, good playmaker, good defender, just an overall very good player. So I really think him and Jaylen Brown, who the Celtics drafted last year, who's also a small forward, him and Jaylen Brown for the Celtics are a good young core. I think the Celtics are trying to compete with the Cavaliers because they've been trying to the last couple of years. They just haven't been able to beat them. But I think they add this guy, and if they add Jason Tatum, and if they in free agency, if they can get a star,
Gordon Hayward
they can
or something
compete
like
against
that.
the Cavaliers. So yeah, that was the Celtics pick at number 3. At number 4, the Suns selected Josh Jackson, the small forward from Kansas. I think Josh Jackson is probably the most athletic player in the draft. He's like 6'9". He's a very good defender, good slasher. He's pretty athletic. He can dunk, slash. His shooting, he got to work on a bit. But if he can get the shooting down, he'll be a very, very good player for the Suns organization, who are also a very young team. I think they're one of the youngest in the NBA, who is a really young team, and they need to get back into competing in the West like they were in the early 2000s with Mike D'Antoni, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Steve Nash. They want to go back to those good old days. So hopefully the Suns can do something like that. The 5th pick went to the Kings, and they drafted a point guard out of Kentucky, De'Aaron Fox. I think he's a very good player. He's a bit small, but he can slash. He's a pretty good shooter, pretty athletic. So I think him and Buddy Hield in the backcourt is a very good, talented backcourt for the Kings going into the future. Because, they traded away their superstar, DeMarcus Cousins, so that they also meant that they wanted to rebuild. So they also got 4 picks in the first round.
Also,
I think got 3 in the
Rudy
first
Gay
and 1 in the second.
Too.
So definitely they're in rebuild mode, and with all the 4 picks they got, I definitely think they're prepared for the future with De'Aaron Fox, and they got Justin Jackson, and then they got Harry Giles from Duke, and they got the College Player of the Year, Frank Mason III, in the second round. So I think definitely the Kings are hopefully can start be good again, and they're trying to rebuild for the future. So those were the top 5. Some significant picks I also think that happened were the Knicks at 8. The Knicks 2 years ago when they drafted Porzingis, obviously everyone knows that. Everyone was like, what the hell did they just do? But he turned out to be amazing, and they drafted at 8. They drafted a point guard from France named Frank Ntilikina. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's like 18 or 19 years old. He's super young, so he can definitely develop into something special for the Knicks. Everyone was obviously like, what the hell did they just do also this year when they drafted him? But hopefully he can prove people wrong like Porzingis did and he hopefully in like 2 years he can turn into a player that can help the Knicks grow into a good team again. Another significant pick probably is the Mavericks. At number 9, they picked Dennis Smith Jr. I think this was also a steal at number 9. He was probably one of the top point guards in the draft, and the Mavericks haven't had a good point guard in probably since like Jason Kidd or Steve Nash was on the team, probably like 10 years ago, something like that. The Mavericks have had JJ Barea, but he's getting old. He's not really that good anymore. So, especially last year, the Mavericks literally had no point guard help at all. So Dennis Smith is going to go in there with Yogi Ferrell, who's also a young point guard that came out last year. So with them two, hopefully they can build a good backcourt for the Mavericks for years to come. The last significant pick, I think, is Malik Monk, the shooting guard from Kentucky, who fell to 11 to the Hornets. I think he's a great steal, really good size, pretty good shooter, slasher, athletic. So Malik Monk and Kemba Walker in the backcourt with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, with Dwight Howard. Now that they have Dwight Howard, I think they're poised to be a pretty good team. So hopefully they can develop into something special there. So those are all the significant picks I thought in the NBA draft.
All right, so thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. That's it for this episode. There wasn't that much, but thank you so much. I'm Alan Snyder.
And I'm Jad Solangi. And then please subscribe, please share, please like, please comment.
Do everything you got. All right, thank y'all.
See you.